Hedges can be used to create borders and to screen off areas. Today we're going to show you how to plant up a hedge, but we've got Tanya Visser from The Gardener with us today, and she's going to show us exactly what to do. Tanya, welcome.
Thanks, Andrew. Right, we're going to do a bit of digging this morning, and most importantly, it's all about the prep. Remember, if we've got to get the prep right, the hedge will be good. Can't put a 30 Rand plant in like a 1 Rand hole. That's
Definitely
always the recipe. So I see you've got some pegs there. That's what we need in the mallet.
Okay.
And really this is pretty unconventional because you actually dig a big trench. It's the easiest way to do it. Imagine if you've got 100 meters of hedging, 100 holes, and they end up being actually quite close together. You may as well just dig a trench and get it done properly.
It's going to be much easier that way.
For sure. So we're going to look at just basic dimensions. We're going to run a lovely rosemary hedge just along the side of this dry stacked wall. And because this is a rosemary hedge, which doesn't get all that big, it's more of a perennial, and this is Tuscan blue, so we're going to keep it nice and low clipped, so it's going to get to a height basically half of this dry stacked wall. So for our trench purposes, we need to look at 400 in width, so we just make a mark there, 400 in width, and it's going to be 400 deep.
That's pretty straightforward.
Pretty straightforward. If, however, you were planting something bigger, say, for instance, you wanted a large hedging plant, whether it be Leyland cypress or even some Duranta Sheena's gold, well, then you'll be going deeper, obviously, because the plant bags that you're going to be buying are much bigger. So then you're going to be going at least 500 way down there. So
plenty of digging.
So you're quite lucky that we're doing a rosemary hedge today.
I guess I'm the one doing the digging today, hey?
Something like that. So first up, let's just get that guy. And we know our hedge is going to go along here, so you get off your first point and just measure it again just to be 100% certain. It's from the edge, 400, and whack 'em in.
Okay.
And it might seem quite overkill to be putting in pegs for hedging, but especially if you're doing straight lines, it's really important that you're working precisely, because it's amazing when you start digging and by I think the 15th hole or the 15th part of the trench of meterage, you become a bit delirious and start going off in a tangent. So it's way better just to mark it out first, and then you're guaranteed to be okay.
Right.
And then if you can just pass me the tape measure, I'm going to do exactly the same on this end.
Do you want me to knock that in for you?
All right, let's pop these guys in. And there we go. You know, it's always as a tip when you are doing this, if you've got a wall or you're working off the house, in fact, always try and do that, because at least then you know you're going to have straight lines. So even if your home is, say, 20 meters away from where you're going to be putting the hedge in and you want it to be perpendicular to it, rather get an extra length tape measure and measure it out, because you'd hate to have a skew hedge, because then you've got a lot of trouble.
The last thing we want to do is have to replant it all.
Exactly. Now we need a bit of builder's line, and we're just going to strap it across here and across there, and we know where our holes are, where we need to start digging for our trench, and away we go.
Okay.
Right. Because we've got the wall, which is brilliant, we don't need to go all the way back again, because this is going to be our marker. We can mark it. You can either use river sand, or you can just mark it with a trowel, with a spade, and we're good to go. Take this guy up, and pegs can come out as well. Lovely stuff. Now's the good part. This is where we get digging, Andrew. What we're going to do, depending on what we're going to find under here, and this is all the secret about planting hedges, is that because we're going down 400, we theoretically should be going through a topsoil level, and then going through to the subsoil. So I want to check out the soil, and let's see what quality this topsoil is. If it's not good quality, then we're not going to keep it.
Straight away I can see it doesn't look very good.
What are you telling me?
No, it looks like building soil. Basically it's already full of clay by the looks of it.
Look at that. I mean, that's your one test. You do that, you can make balls at it. So at the end of the day, we're actually going to remove all of this, and we're going to be replacing this top layer of soil with good topsoil from another part of the garden and compost. If you dug this up at home, or if the folks at home are busy doing this and you found that you had really good friable soil, nice black soil, then keep that top section aside. The lower 200, that you put on another pile, and then we'll show you the next step, what you do with those piles a bit later on. Andrew, that should about do it.
We're definitely done.
How are you feeling?
I'm exhausted now, exhausted.
Good.
One of the perks about DIY is you can chop and change as you wish. We've actually dug our trench even further, all the way a length of the wall, and it's going to actually look much better. We've got extra plants, we're going to plant it up, it's going to look fantastic. Tanya, what's next?
Right, now that we've spent all our energy digging and taking away all this horrible soil, because it's no use putting all these gorgeous plants into really bad soil. So remember, as we said, on the other hand, if you had good topsoil, you would have put that one side.
Okay.
Now, because we don't have that scenario,
Terrible
we are getting
stuff.
new soil. But whether you've got good topsoil or not, your first step is still the same, where you're going to take a bag of compost or well-rotted kraal manure, and you are going to use that as your bottom layer, about 200 mils.
Okay.
So you want to put a thick layer of that all the way down across the trench.
Tanya, this is our compost, and this is what we had before. Wow.
Awesome. And even smell it. I mean, yeah, compost can be a bit smelly, but really, it smells like growth. It smells healthy, and you just know that it's going to be the right thing. So we've put our layer down about 5 to 10 centimeters. Now what we want to do, if we had the good topsoil, which we don't have, so we've got some from the other part of the garden, we're now going to fill that in halfway up with our good topsoil alternative. If you can't get hold of any good topsoil, go along to your local builders and you can get a combination of potting soil and compost and mix that in a 50-50 ratio. All right, let's get going. Okay, Andrew, in goes our compost and potting soil mixture, which we've used, which has also got a little bit of topsoil from the garden. So whack that in halfway to fill the trench.
Pretty straightforward.
With a good stamping, and then we've got it to the right level. Now, for an extra bit of good luck, remember, you can never have enough bone meal.
Good stuff.
Throw a bit in. Just a good sprinkling. Rightio. And now we come to placing the plants. And at this junction, it's pretty simple in terms of how you're going to take the plant out the bag. Very simple. Grab your hand across it like that. Swing the plant over and gently remove the planting bag. We're going to start with our first one right there where your foot is, Andrew, as close to the edge as possible. And you'll see when we put it in, because we've got our levels right, that the level of the soil, original level, is almost dead level with the surface of the plant. That way we're not burying it too deep or too shallow, in fact. And that's an important rule to look out for when you are planting anything.
Just keeping it dead flush with the top. Pretty
Exactly.
straightforward.
And now, because we're using rosemary, they're going to go approximately 30 centimeters apart,
Okay.
because that is generally the width that each plant will get. So it's important that you do read the labels on the planting bags when you get them, so that you know how far you're planting them apart. And we're going to pop this guy in here. Now notice, we're not filling in yet, because this is where it's going to be really easy. So let's just place all our guys in our straight row. And remember, things that we need to get right is putting them in the middle of our trench.
Okay.
Okay, that's why we had to dig this guy so wide. Off you go.
Right, Tanya, I think we've got them all in position. Dead straight line. Perfect.
Looking gorgeous. I mean, and you can already see just with your eye, if one is slightly out of kilter, that you just want to move it in. Get the positioning right now. Because once they're planted and you start jiggling them around, all the soil falls off and starts putting the plants under terrible stress. But right now, they're all looking gorgeous, in place, and remember, it was our spacing. So now we've got our mixture here of compost, potting soil, and a bit of topsoil. And this is now just going to get spaded directly into the trench around these guys. So we've only dug once, and all done and dusted.
Makes life much easier.
Absolutely, let's go for it. And last step, Andrew, is a bit of mulch, and this is some old bedding from the chicken runs. Now, if you don't have chickens in your back garden, well then, no, I'll take it, there are no hohos in there. You're going to use that as a great mulch to put all the way around the rosemary. It's going to protect it, keep the moisture, and of course stop the weeds. If you don't have anything like that, you can get some bark nuggets, your own well-rotted compost. You could even put pebbles around as a mulch, but that's going to keep them nice and snug.
Well, Tanya, I think we've actually done. I can't believe how much easier that trenching technique was.
It just is so much easier, I think, because you've got more space to work in. You're not trying to get a bit of soil out of a little hole. And really, I mean, this was done in 2 ticks of a lamb's tail. The mulch is on. All that's left to do now is give it a good watering.
Perfect. So there you have it, a simple trench bed built up with some plants, and now actually makes a fantastic hedge. All you need to do is go down to your local builders. They've got everything you need there. You can choose which plants you want, go down, have some fun and enjoy.